How many of y'all have ever been going to foreign exchange school? And then finally, when the hot foreign exchange lady opens up to you, you have to go and walk to the kitchen to get your breakfast. But on your way to the kitchen to get your breakfast, you have to walk through shark-infested waters. There's a giant dome. You're inside of a giant vaulted ceiling building. But on the way, it opens up to some bay area and the water flows into this giant building like they've built some super dome over the top of the bay as the water comes in. And you go to McDonald's and they say, okay, what would you like? And you get some bacon, egg, and cheese, and then some tacos. And then you say, oh, I would like some French toast. And they say, well, go over to that restaurant right there. They make great breakfast items. And so you say, okay, thanks. But you don't want to walk through the water because you can see that there's sharks and you're by yourself. And usually it's better to walk through shark-infested water when you're with people. So you say, is there a way that I can walk through the kitchen so that I don't have to walk through the shark-infested water? And they're like, yeah, sure, you can walk through the kitchen. Just walk and act like you were a worker here. And I'm like, okay. And I had to go and walk through the kitchen, but I have flippers on because it's so watery. And so they're like, just walk sideways like a duck. So I walk through the kitchen, walk over there, and the guy puts out chips for me like I'm some guy who's been coming in forever and he gives me free chips because I'm just a street urchin. So I'm sitting there eating my free chips, and then finally I say to him, hey, I would like a menu, please. And I would like some French toast. And so then he leaves, and then all of a sudden the scene opens up and there's a politician. And the politician says, listen to me, everybody. I will prove to you that the devil cannot harm me. And he says, everybody come follow me. We're having a rally. And so then all of a sudden the whole scene changes to this guy that is playing the devil. And he says, watch this. They cannot harm me still. And he has a roll of film that he was supposed to follow on his path, but they have this whole scene set up where he's playing an angel, but the devil at the same time, and he's supposed to get baptized because he's supposed to be like coming to the light, but his little like red carpet that rolled out that's supposed to protect him from harm or whatever ran out right before the water's edge. So he's not going to be able to get baptized this time in his performance. And so it's really not going to go that well. And he's sitting there playing with all these things. And then all of a sudden you realize that you got left behind, and they left all the cameras and all this stuff. And they said, oh, well, you just come over here, but you're like a military man all of a sudden who's like 6'4", 275 pounds, and you have like an M1 Garand rifle and like a shotgun and a pistol, and you're sitting there fighting sharks for like an hour. And then finally you have to fight crocodiles, and you run out of all your ammunition, and you're jumping through the water, and you decide to do back rolls through the water, but the crocodile's coming down at you in the water. So you grab your rifle at the bottom of the water of this pond you're in and shove it down the crocodile's throat, and then swim out. And as you're backing up out of the water, your cell phone dials a lady. And so this cell phone calls this lady, and you say, please, can you come and grab me? They left me. They left all the cameras. I'm in the woods. I'm in the woods of town. I'm in the part of town where you go by the old church. And she was like, yeah, I'll be there. That place is all brick and mortar. And you're like, yeah, but they burned it all down. They burned down the whole city. They burned down the whole town. And eventually, this lady gets there, But then they send a bunch of spies to come and take you out too, and they're shooting at you. And you tell the guy that had come with the lady, you said, watch out for these guys. And so you go and walk around all these cars, but then all of a sudden you end up stealing and fighting one of the vehicles that the guy brought for you. And so you're driving this vehicle, you're trying to escape. You try and jump over some tracks, jump over like some airspace, and jump over onto the road and continue, but you fall into the water. And then you're like, I hope this can drive underwater. You try driving up the other bank. Then you try driving, but the mud is too thick, so you turn, you try driving up some other mud. And you go, you start getting up, you start gaining traction, you start going, you start getting out of this place. And then all of a sudden, you wake up.